Let's go. Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal PeaceLoveMusic here with another episode of the Let's Go Good Morning Show, saying good morning to all of our beautiful friends in the stacks and Bitcoin and broader crypto ecosystem. I'm your host, PeaceLoveMusic, and we are coming at you live on BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting, our good partners here with DeOrganized Media. And it is Monday, the 17th of February, more than halfway through the month. Things are interesting. You know, it's good to see where things are going. We had some great stuff we covered last week. A lot of great things happening in the ecosystem. Everyone's just kind of chipping away. There's more stuff to come. We're kind of all just slowly but surely building out our processes and building out our network, and kind of taking advantage of the people that are here building, and not taking advantage of in a negative way, just kind of taking advantage of the fact that we are all here together building, working on things together. And friendly reminder, this is a news and information show. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. That being said, the numbers in this morning: Bitcoin's coming in at 96,505 shortly before the broadcast. Stacks holding on to the 90 cent range at 94.15 cents. claiming the number 63 space by market cap on CoinMarketCap. Fear and Greed Index staying tight at 38, still in the fear range. And the top 3 gainers on CoinMarketCap the last 24 hours are S, that was FTM token. They changed it to something else. Ronin and PancakeSwap are your top 3 gainers on CoinMarketCap. The Stacks DeFi realm, Hermetica yield on USDH is up to 16% today, and their total debt value locked is now up to $5 million. There's been a ton of interest in Bitflow DCA into Dog Rune token over the last couple of days, with orders to buy into Dog nearly tripling. Calling all content creators, the Velar Creator Program is a new way to earn while you post. See the Velar BTC X account for more info on how to participate. The Velar Dex now supports BNS names. Connect and trade with your .btc name. Alex Surge 2 rewards and LP claim is now open. Tokens can be claimed at app.alexlab.com/surge. And be on the lookout for Surge 3 coming in around February 25th, right around the same time as the launch of the SBTC Phase 2. The numbers on Zest this morning. Zest is offering 7.29% yield on SBTC, and their highest yield today is out 11.15% on AEUSDC. Today's rates at Stacking DAO are 7.88% on liquid STSTX, or you can receive yield in native BTC at 7.56% and now 7.41% on yields in SBTC with their STX BTC product. The top 3 STX token performers on STX tools the past 24 hours are the NYC token, Flat Earth, and Amigo. Friendly reminder, my friends, when you stack your STX, you earn yield in Bitcoin. Tell your friends. Calendar for the day. We have, as always, our morning show with Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30. We also have Fine Turn with Zenitron at 10 a.m. And we have Mr. Wagme live at 1 p.m. I believe I'm showing on the calendar. That's interesting. There's usually a couple of other shows on Monday. We got to get everybody onto the Stacks calendar and onto the BitcoinLive, the DeOrganized calendar, the organized media calendar. If you have a regular XSpace live stream or even a single or short series of events you want to let the community know about, you head on over to deorganized.media, set up your user account, and we'll get your event set up on the calendar and spread awareness to our audience about your events. This is an open community calendar, and it's open to anyone at no cost to you. So please do take advantage. Head over to deorganized.media now, set up your account. And then if you're having issues with it, you can DM me or GPSC, and we'll get you straightened out. Biggest news story of the day, and there's a number of them, but the biggest news story of the day is that Hayden Davis, linked to Libra and Melania meme coins, that's right, he's linked to both, admitted to financial misconduct in an interview with CoffeeZilla. The Milei, Silvio Milei, president of Argentina, endorsed Libra token was an open secret, quote, in meme coin circles weeks before its $100 million rug pull, says Jupiter Exchange. Public pension funds and state treasuries in the U.S. In 12 U.S. states hold a combined $330 million in strategy shares. California leads with $83 million. Scammers impersonating Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman launched a fake KSA meme coin as officials confirmed the account was hacked. Be careful out there, friends. Italy's central bank and securities regulator are in talks with crypto firms to strengthen regulatory safeguards amid widening EU-US policy gaps. Standard Chartered, Animoca Brands, and HKT launch a joint venture to introduce a Hong Kong dollar-backed stablecoin. Bitwise head of Alpha Strategies, Jeff Park, says Bitcoin's implied volatility percentile is at the lowest all year, claims it is a generational opportunity. Bitcoin's volatility index is currently at 50.9, down from its yearly high of 71.28, and its 4 percentile sitting at 12.3%, according to Deribit data. On CNBC yesterday, Donald Trump's AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, said, quote, Bitcoin is the first digital currency. It is an excellent store of value. A total of 12 states in North America have reported holding Michael Saylor's strategy stock in their state pension funds or treasury as of the end of 2024, totaling $330 million. It's probably a lot more than that now. Bitcoin inter-exchange flow pulse metric is turning bearish, suggesting a decline in market risk appetite and potentially marking the start of a bearish phase, according to crypto quant contributor J.A. Martoon. Billionaire Paul Tudor Jones investment firm discloses owning $426.9 million worth of BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF shares, doubled from its previously reported holding in its last SEC filing. ETF flows for the week. U.S. spot ETFs sold around 6,001 Bitcoin and 10,500 ETH in the past week. SBTC Phase 2 begins on the 25th of February with an increased cap for bridging in additional 2,000 BTC onto stacks and withdrawals going live in early March. As with Phase 1, the minimum deposit amount will be 0.01 BTC, and all those caps will actually be eliminated once withdrawals are open. There's a new X handle you should all be following: BoostX underscore app or BoostSTX underscore app. Stacks OG and friend of the show, Crypto Dude, has developed a new protocol for sending STX, SBTC, and other SIP10 tokens to users on X. All you need to have is a BNS name in your X profile name, and you can get paid, tipped, earn STX. You can head on over to boostx.cc to learn more. Are you building on Bitcoin L2s? Don't miss the Biddle Battle Bitcoin Builders Tournament running from March 3rd through the 21st. Builders will compete for over $25,000 in prizes building on stacks with other L2s to be announced. There are 3 tracks: Bitcoin DeFi 2.0, 3.0 digital economy, and AI tooling and infrastructure. Registrations are open now. Head over to biddlebattle.com to register and for more information about the event. Do you have a .btc name? You can get one now over at bns.one. They've announced a number of platform enhancements for user interface, listing marketplace enhancements, and more. Head on over to bns.one, get your own BTC.stx or other BNS digital ID. For a limited period of time, you can apply for reimbursement for registering a BNS over at Velar. You head over to @VelarBTC on X for more details about that. Are you looking to get started as a developer on Stacks? Head over to stacks.co over at the right-hand side. You click Get Started to access developer tools, learn the basics to build a full app, and even ways to get paid to build. And make sure you come out and join us this Friday and every Friday at 11 a.m. The Stacks Improvement and Innovation Community Call with Hero Gamer and the Stacks Foundation. Come learn about the latest developments on Stacks Chain and give us your input on what you would like to see built on Stacks. That is the news I have for you all today. I'm going to bring in our friends just a minute. Say hi in the chat real quick. What's up, Gary? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Reese. Good morning, Elder Statesman. What's up? What's up, my girl? Nobody famous. Good morning. my guys on. What's up, G?
Good morning,
GP. We got Jack Binswitch making a Monday morning appearance. What's up, Jack?
Blockface.
Blockface. Blockface looks like he hasn't slept since Friday's show.
No. How can you sleep at a time like this?
How you doing today?
Got the fresh cheetah hoodie on this morning. Let's go.
I talked to Crypto Boost. He says we're going to sell a home using Twitter. He said he knew how to do that.
Crypto dude.
Yeah. He just put a picture of the home, and then people reply with their bids.
Go for it.
That sounds. What could go wrong?
I know a realtor.
Well, you're in charge, so. I know a realtor who will take full blame for everything that occurs, right?
Well, if I was actually facilitating the transaction, there wouldn't be any problems. But
so you're saying that DeOrganized is for the media, but Organized is for the real estate transaction? I understand.
I'm saying we have a long way to get there before we can have real estate transactions be like that, if ever, because you're.
Hold on. I know we're all fascinated about real estate, but can we see that coffee mug again? That thing looked to be the size of your head.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a good one there. You put a whole pot in
for Solana?
It's for Solana rugs.
Oh no.
Oh man, did you? I know I contacted you at like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep last night.
I was up watching at 5 o'clock this morning watching that interview, and I believe my response to Jack was, "Holy shit! What the hell?"
I heard they rugged all of Argentina. Is that correct?
It's
pretty much.
It's bigger than
all
that.
I know.
In a lot of respects. So like everything that people who know a little bit about the space have suspected for quite some time is actually true. And so we got a lot of details about how true it really is. So the underlying story is, there was going to be this token launch called Libra, and it was supposed to have something to do with Argentina, right? And it was actually promoted in a tweet by the president of Argentina. And then, of course, it launches and immediately rugs. And it, like, I don't know, dude, realized losses are in the hundreds of millions of dollars for people. It started a bit of an international incident. And one of the guys who was involved with it, this Hayden Davis guy, or Hayden David, I don't know. He's an
Davis. I think it's Davis.
Yeah, well, douchebag. This douchebag goes and gives an interview with CoffeeZilla without an attorney, and just not only implicates himself in about 5 different financial crimes, but also implicates all kinds of other people, right? So that's like the TLDR on the Libra coin.
Look, if CoffeeZilla asks you for an interview, it's already too late.
Right, exactly.
This
dude's scared. Like this dude.
He should be.
Yeah, he should be, right? Like, so
I mean, it might be safer in a jail that's not Argentinian. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of safe places right now.
There's not a lot of safe places in jail.
But it really like highlights the problem of what's going on in crypto in general, and not just this cycle either. Because here's what I saw. I saw a guy who does not give a damn about anything being built or anything happening in this space and the underlying technology about it. He basically comes out and says that during the interview, right? None of this is worth a damn. It's all bullshit. Even Bitcoin's bullshit. All of these things he kind of talks about. So that's not just a problem now. That's been a problem. Just like with the venture capitalists, you've got the really high FDV, very low float coins that just bleed retail dry for years, and people stop messing with those. It's the same dynamic. It's people who don't care about the space past getting rich. So like that's the part that I think is just so fascinating, because you also have a percentage, and I don't know how you conceptualize this. You have a percentage of the people participating in these things who also are just as happy to be like, okay, I'm going to try to get my piece of this move and then sell my bag to the next biggest sucker, right? And then you have a percentage of people who you can't conceptualize right now, who are just so new. They don't really know anything about anything here, and they're looking at these KOLs and what's being shilled, and they're just buying it and getting wrecked, right? So there's a lot of different dynamics to look at there, but this was kind of like a watershed moment. This is as big of a watershed moment as, say, FTX, except with the complete market-wide just explosion that came along with that.
Yeah, it's kind of been obvious that this is what's been going on for, I think it was like last March or something, when you said however many, like there was like this just outrageous number of meme tokens that launched on Solana in that 1 month. And things have kind of been a little wonky since then, almost. Really. You just have this massive value extractive play that's constantly being waged, and the normies and the retail and the people that are just kind of in the space that aren't really active participants in building anything or kind of structuring anything, they don't realize that they're just having their value extracted from them over and over and over again, trying to catch a lottery ticket. Right. And they all just keep doing it because they're like, I was so close on that. If I had only gotten in a little bit earlier. And then when they do get in a little bit early, they end up getting wrecked anyway, because they're not ready to just sell it. They're not
But it's only gambling if you lose, right?
Right. And that's the thing. This is like the worst odds of any casino game that could ever be devised, right? That's the other part. And then when you really look at it, you can see, okay, the only tokens of the millions that have been launched via Pump Fun alone, literally millions, tens of millions at this point, probably. Most of them do absolutely nothing. And then you have some that do okay because they have a KOL who has inside information, and then they pump it. And this was just like the perfect form of that. This had the insider information piece. This had all of the different moving parts, and it also had such a big meta because everyone wants to get those like returns like people got with Trump, right? So it's like, oh, this is a politician's coin. This is going to go to billions and billions of dollars. So that made it like the perfect scam, right? And so it's good that it came out the way it did. The question is what do we do with this information, right? And I think there's a lot that can be mined from all this, and a lot that can be learned from this. So I think it's worth having that discussion.
Yeah, I feel like the debate between like meme coins and community coins is a really, really good conversation to have. You have your straight meme coins, which are like the most degenerate, like degen thing that you can bet on, and then you have your community coins where you could bet on the builders that are actually building applications for different blockchains. And I think a push towards these community coins and really getting back behind real builders that are actually trying to make things for their community, whether that be DeFi or anything, just building anything on chain is a good way to kind of transition from just degenerate gambling to, okay, hey, now we're back to betting on.
Well, think about it like this. Let's look at, okay, so everything catches the meme coin category. So if you have like a coin like Peppy, like Peppy the Frog, that's like an honest to God meme. That is a coin. That is probably your most pure example of a meme coin. right? And then you have what's going on Solana right now, which, I mean, they're just kind of called meme coins, but by people who are just like, this is something that's not technical in nature, so this is a meme coin. And then you have what I like to call community coins, which I won't even bring stacks into this. Look at Dog. Okay, take Dog for instance on Bitcoin. That is a honest to God community, right? So all three of those are different, and they should be looked at differently. And to your point about community coins, okay, so there's various different things aside from, like, now you can take this to stacks, and you can look at like Leo or Meme or Rue or any of these tokens that have actually built other things for their communities. You look at it a little deeper. Okay, so for your average retail participant, if you're bullish on stacks, right, which you should be, stacks has a underlying great bull thesis, and you're like, okay, I want a beta play on that, great. Well, a meme coin or a community coin fits that profile. And then if you're like in a really good community and you're in a strong token, and let's say you've got $2 million worth of liquidity, as a retail investor, you'll probably never have that kind of buying power available to you. That if your whole community could say, hey, we're going to take this $2 million and we're going to do this with it, right? And then you can actually make things, and you can make people larger stakeholders into their ecosystem, right? So there's a lot to unpack there, and that's not even getting into the creative aspect with a meme coin's a great way for artists to make art and have immediately recognizable, immediately in demand art. There's all kind of different levels to this that you can unpack. But I think that the main thing, especially for us here in the Stacks ecosystem, is to use something like this as an opportunity to be like, hey, you can still like speculate. You can speculate in situations that won't immediately land you in a rug pull, and you can also participate in crypto, which again, like at its base level, when you get away from DeFi or the serious financial use cases, I've said it before, crypto is like a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, right? So it's a game in and of itself. And if being in a community is part of that, there's a whole just world of possibilities that can be explored. And we're still early enough in all of this where we still don't even know fully what that looks like going forward. So it's a great opportunity to draw a distinction and be like, well, if you want to do these things, this is probably the better way to do it. Because again, one thing that guy said last night is, I don't even know how you fairly launch a coin. That's horse shit.
Right. He doesn't want to know. He
Right.
doesn't want to know. And listen, not one of us here, if we thought we had the opportunity to spend $100 and make 10,000, of course we would try. If we thought there was a legitimate opportunity, but that's not realistic. And most of us are around.
Can I present the other side?
Yeah.
The other side of what?
This is the dark
Hi,
side.
Kitty. Good morning.
Hey, good kitty.
Good morning, Kitty. Well, hold on, because before I want to just say that the difference is there's an extractive value play, and then there's a value added play. That's the difference. A community token is one that creates value for the community through the token. An extractive play is just there to pump up the volume and then rug and dump as much as with as much extraction as they can, and then they just keep repeating that. So yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kitty.
Yeah, I just think that I actually did a tweet about it this weekend. I don't know if you saw it, but it's become what did I say? It's become like a chaos. And if you even look at what happened with ordinals, ordinals have been devalued because of runes. Runes have ruined ordinals. There's this sort of big argument going on about it at the moment.
Is it runes? Is it runes, or is it too much? Is it
extraction?
Is there too many ordinals that are not really worth anything?
We can come back to that, but what I wanted to say, because this was all about meme tokens and community tokens and art, and the problem comes in that your average person doesn't have enough time or knowledge to research. So they instantly just see something, and this whole thing said, what have we come to when you're late? If 15 minutes have gone by, that's when you're already now late. So there's this huge panic that people feel with meme tokens. And my feeling about them is definitely on Stacks, I've seen so many, Rue in particular, and a number of others who have added incredible value to our ecosystem and actually built the community or kind of kept the community going inside Stacks. But the problem is the average person doesn't know, and it's generally just speculation. So every single person who buys some sort of crypto, let's not even say, let's not put it all on meme, any kind of brand new crypto, people are speculating on it generally. What I wish that with meme tokens or meme coins, that it would almost be like a proof of work token. Because the minute you also calling it meme, a lot of these tokens are called meme tokens, when they're a lot more than that. You know, they're building for the community. It's not kind of just there is entertainment involved, but there's a lot more to it. My feeling is if we could have, or I wish there could be the case where if you are building, to rather not release your coin first, but build it and then have the coin. Because I think a lot of projects as well are brought down by the fact that it's like, okay, there's a meme token, there's distrust around that. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't have a good, generally, I'm not saying, because it's very different with a couple of them that I know, but yeah, it just bothers me. And I think there's also this conversation going around now about runes and how kind of attaching this kind of shitcoins on Bitcoin philosophy to the technology of runes, because ordinals, because with runes, you can't even trade them properly, or in the beginning when they first came out. So it was kind of this like, woo, oh my God, this is going to be so awesome. And
they're way too easy to create. They're super, super easy to create, and so there's no real value in them. Most of them.
Incredible technology. What we had was going, let's put something on Bitcoin with ordinals forever. This is so important for art, for any provenance, really. But anyway,
you're right about ordinals have an inherent value as collectibles. But one of the things that's important not to overlook in the ordinals market is when ordinals started getting popular. At first, ordinals, your early people ordinals, we were just playing by ourselves.
Yeah.
And then you had people like Frank DeOrganized, who is one of the people who's just like this big scamming douchebag, come in there and put his NFT collection on ordinals and remove, millions of dollars out of the ecosystem, right? Yeah. It's that as well, and it gets back to that same issue, right? Where it's this hype driven, and if you look at like the DeOrganized collection on ordinals, especially, it's extraordinarily low quality. Like it's not even a good collection, but because of the hype, because of the hype man, it went to a very high valuation. And guess what? Now that a lot of that money went into Solana, ripping people off on Solana coins. So there's this bad actor part, and ultimately, like what's really going to happen, what's going to clear up a lot of this is going to be AI, if it's not just out and out regulations, right? A lot of which would be bad. I'm anti-regulation. I hate the government, but like I think it's going to be AI, where it's just like, okay, I'm going to set my AI to find cool stuff for me, and I don't have to know anything. It's going to know it for me. And that's where you find your flight to quality, whether it's with an ordinal or a token or what have you. That's yields on how you're using your DeFi, what have you. That I would say that's probably the most likely.
AI agents, won't there be naughty ones who are out there to trick our good ones?
I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure it's gonna get wild.
Everything that exists will exist again in the AI realm. I mean, it's just humanity will extend itself in all of its darkness and light, right?
Yeah, I always wonder, will my AI agent be tricked by, you know what I mean? So yes, the AI agents now can go out and find truth, but what happens when we've got AI agents that are feeding bad stuff into the system that we're all getting our info from? Is that possible? Like the reverse cycle.
If you
can think it, it's possible.
If you can think it, it's possible, and if you're deferring your own capacity to look at something, and there's always a vector there for you being defrauded or being misinformed. It's the same thing, I wouldn't say I hate government, but I'm very, very skeptical and leery in giving more and more power to government. And in a system where we have a representative form of government, you're deferring your capacity to make decisions to someone else. And so that's the same thing that AI is going to do. Anytime you do that, you're opening up a risk of not actually having your interests represented where you think you will be. So it's the same thing. How do you make sure that the AI is going to actually represent you and not somebody else? Unless you can build your own adequately, skillfully.
That's why we're here with Michael. Michael is teach us all to have our own AI agents, Michael. What did you want to say? You wanted to present.
Yeah. So I wanted to disagree with all of you on the trading thing. So let me just share my screen, and I'll show you what the institution thinks about your, informed ideas about fairness. So they wrote a report on 5 open questions about predictive markets like poly markets.
They who?
The people who know about predictive markets. So
who are they?
You'd like to know? Justin Wolfers and Eric.
You always say they.
Yeah. So
just curious.
So that's okay. Let's get to the point. So the major questions that every market asks is, how do they attract more dumb people? How can markets attract uninformed traders? Counterintuitively, the problem for most prediction markets is attracting sufficient uninformed order flow. Markets need uninformed order flow to function. When trading is conducted by rational traders whose sole motivation is expected returns, the no trade theorem binds and the market unravels. Uninformed order flow can have a variety of motivations: entertainment, overconfidence, and hedging, for example. But with the exception of hedging, these are usually non-economic, putting economists at a comparative disadvantage in predicting which markets will succeed. So we need retail to lose their money. That was true in Web 2, and I think it's true in Web 3. I would like you to disagree with me. That's the dark version of this.
I totally agree with you. That is why it's called...
Don't agree with me, good Katie. That's the hell version of financial markets. Please disagree with me. Again, I was licensed in financial markets, and that is why I went to stand-up comedy, because I saw that retail, 1984, like the future, just a boot stamping on a human face over and over. That's kind of like how retail is treated by the institutions.
You're right. You're right. That is how the institutions treat retail, period.
But I'm trusting you guys to tell me what to do so that we don't do that.
Well, the thing is we have to
be more informed. Don't be an uninformed trader.
Grade 6 reading level. We can't be more informed.
Don't be informed, or be more informed. But you can never. There's not a center point that everyone can turn to and go, that is the truth. So the truth is so, whose truth is what? We all have even different truths here, the same facts. The
Right,
thing
but
is,
you can become
these tokens, there should be, if I was the boss of crypto, so let's just pretend I am for now, I would say that you wouldn't be allowed to release a token unless you had built something first. So you would go and get investment, and then you would create a return on investment. And you would do that by building a product in the middle. This whole story about going out and saying, we're going to release a community token, and then we're going to build a community around it. And many times that befuddles people. There's this whole, I don't know if you saw this Derek Scott situation going on this weekend. This guy, Jerry NFT, he was contacted by Derek Scott in the Bored Ape community, right? So they're in the community. So they've never met each other, but they've each got an ape. So, and Jerry NFT, if you look at him, he's the people who've commented on is all the biggest names in crypto. So he seems to be pretty connected in the whole thing. Derek Scott reached out to him and said, listen, he urgently needs $15,000 because otherwise he's going to, whatever you say, long or short or whatever it is he was doing. And this guy lent him the $15,000 and then Jerry disappeared. And Jerry is a well-known, Derek is like a well-known video game developer. So truth and trust, that is why we're here, because we want to find at least something that's what humans are searching for. So to me, you get investment, build a product, you release a token. Unless there's a product that you are buying a token for, don't buy it. Because nobody can say what's going to happen, ever. I wouldn't even trust my brother. And, I love him because we don't know what the circumstances are going to be. That
one thing you can do is be aware of the tokenomics, and what to look for. How do you look at the volume? How do you look at the holders, the diversity, the distribution of the token and how many people are holding it and who's holding it and all of that stuff. Like, there are things you can do to be more informed.
The thing is, decisions are like, now they're saying if you haven't bought those tokens between 15 minutes and like 45 minutes, you're already losing money.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to do research.
Most people shouldn't be engaging with those platforms at all. Most people are.
Yeah, but most old ladies shouldn't go lose their pension on a casino. You're not going to stop an old lady from pressing a digital screen in Las Vegas. Come on now.
No. And then to good pity,
my mom lost everything that way, so I know firsthand.
Yeah.
She gambled her home away. She gambled her pension away. We found her living on somebody else's couch in her 60s.
To Melanie's point, that was the prevalent dynamic in this space up until relatively recently, right? Where so the easily deployable smart contracts are relatively new phenomena. They've only recently gained prominence. Prior to that, most of your token launches, especially if you go back to 2016, 2017, were ICOs. So if you think about that, that's basically the model you're describing. And the problem with that is it was kind of like the original rush to the internet and the .com bubble. Everybody was just like, we're making this except on the blockchain, right? So you still had that mad rush of people trying to get into ICO, and if you couldn't, you were one of those persons trying to get in within the first 15 minutes of it launching, and it ended poorly for most people. And it's the same dynamic that just happened with Libra token. You had your insiders who were hooked into the system, who had the information. They knew everything before the rest of the market did. They won. So it's still you still have that part of it is the problem to be solved, but then it gets back to, well, to Mike's point, which is, retail has to lose in a market. It gets to your point of like, how does someone even know what someone's building if it has any quality or not? So if you take like a legitimate,
it has to be already built. You don't invest unless the house is built. You don't have some dude like go, okay, I'm going to build you a mansion. Give me all your money. I mean, we all know with a builder, you don't pay him his full money until you've checked the snag list. Otherwise, he will run away with your money. It's the same thing. They have to build a product. It goes back to that proof of work thing that I did last year, where it was very easy to choose who to give the money to, because there we could see. So tokens should be like when somebody builds a company, then they list it on the stock exchange. They don't go there and say, hey, I'm gonna like build a company. Can you does anybody want to buy shares in my company? They wouldn't do that. You first of all build something and then you go and you put it on the stock exchange. So my feeling is that's how it should be. You should get your own money and build your company up. And then once you've built whatever you're going to build, then get your community going.
But that's why we want decentralized finance in the first place, because if you've built something and you're about to list on a stock exchange, most people can't even buy that at the best price because they're not qualified investors, right? So they have to buy after everyone else bought and get dumped on. So that's the point of DeFi.
At least they're buying something. It might be even a shit something, but at least it's not thin air. And these tokens that we are seeing literally make a mockery of the market
the market does a good enough job of that itself. It's part of it.
A year ago, it was easier for me to talk to people about Bitcoin. It's going through a bit of people are just like, oh God, I just feel that yes, DeFi, definitely. I love DeFi. I think it's very important. And I think it is the way of the future. But I think it needs to be re-examined. This whole, drop a token that has it's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous that people are going out and creating a token and people are buying it and then going, I'm so cross, I lost money. I want to go to them like, well, what exactly did you think? You've heard a story about some dude who made and people are putting it on Twitter, 10xing. Yeah, that's because they 10x your ass.
Okay, I'm using that from now
I want
on.
that T-shirt. They
I'm
10x
that ass.
10x your ass. It's like Elaine Bennis,
That just made it into the vernacular. We're rolling with
You just
that
got
one.
your ass 10x.
I'm a 10x that ass so hard you ain't gonna fit into a lift.
Oh, Kitty just coined a really good.
I think we've just coined something that can become a little meme vibe. So I'm talking about meme tokens.
The ticker is 10x your ass.
That has utility. If I laugh, is that utility?
Yeah.
Quickly,
Utility. And that ultimately that's true, right? Like no one can deny that commercials are profitable, that they don't serve a purpose. So what is a commercial? It's the monetization of attention, right? So no, I mean it's there's definitely something to that, right? But no, I mean to your point, you bring up valid points, and the thing is we're in a place where this is still a new thing for most people. The most established, coin by far is Bitcoin, and if I leave my house and I try to find people who understand Bitcoin, it's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a while to just get in front of somebody who can have an intelligent conversation about Bitcoin, right? So
right. Most people in Bitcoin, most people that are invested in Bitcoin are invested in Bitcoin because they expect that the value is going to go up. They don't know why, they don't know how, and there's nothing that they're going to do short of buying and holding it that's going to actually affect the value going up.
Yeah, Michael Saylor put out a tweet yesterday. He's like, when you buy Bitcoin, you strengthen the network. When you sell Bitcoin, you weaken the network. What kind of nonsense, horse shit is that from the freshly minted mascot of Bitcoin? That's not how Bitcoin works at all. For one, anytime someone buys Bitcoin, that's because someone wanted to sell the exact same amount of Bitcoin. But that has nothing to do with the strength of Bitcoin or the network. Right. So like even that guy, you know, who's, you know, to a normal person's going to be like, this is the Bitcoin guy. Doesn't know his shit from his ass from a hole in the ground.
Right.
You know?
If no one's actually using the Bitcoin, but using Bitcoin, like using it to actually transfer value or some of the burgeoning DeFi applications of it, using it to borrow against, to invest in real estate per se or something like that. That's something that is coming down the line that increases the value of the network because it's actually being used. Just buying and holding Bitcoin doesn't. Adding new users does increase the network, so therefore it does increase the value of the network. But if all they're doing is buying it and holding it, that's not the most valuable use case versus other things people can do with Bitcoin. And part of that is building on top of Bitcoin, extending different use cases, extending different capacities. We don't have a token for DeOrganized Media, and it's been suggested that it's one way we could use it to fund the project. But I don't know how to do that in a non-value extract. I haven't figured out exactly how I would do that without being an extractive.
Calculate the percentage of value you want to extract. So instead of like 99%, you're like, you know what, 15% is going to be value extract. You know what I mean? Like you're like transparent.
I just don't. I know I get the joke, but
there has to be some spectrum. Eventually, you're going to want to craft dinner meal one in a blue moon.
Right.
Like craft dinner, like mac and cheese, or like
like
craft
the Canadian buffet.
It's an IPO, an extractive process.
In and of itself.
It's not extractive if I'm an accredited investor.
Right.
I don't think having a token is the right thing to do. Personally.
No, and I haven't done it. I'm just using it as an example. It's not something that's on the agenda in the short term. But
that becomes amazing. Is like if you build up, like, you know, again, going back to like build a whole bunch of stuff before you do that, because otherwise you put yourself under too much pressure and people will expect something from you. The minute you give somebody something and they give you money in exchange, even if you've already given them something, they will expect more from you. People they will become like, that's just how it is. So even if it sounds like a good idea, you know, because you're going to be able to create some sort of income to support the show initially, at some point, I think it bites you in the backside. And I think
I don't see how I could possibly provide the value. Like, I'm not sure how it would work and why people would be buying it and what if that's how we have to fund ourselves, then where's the value coming after the fact for the people that bought the token? You know, how are we adding more value down the line? And then how does that, you know, it becomes complicated because you can't just
have a cow first.
No,
a cow, like a centralized organization, or like a centralized organization.
The route for private funding for DeOrganized actually lies in NFTs, and we've discussed what that looks like before.
We have.
I never
That
heard
would
that.
be.
Who here knows how STX is made?
No clue.
How it's made, like proof of transfer, and how it's.
Is it like the Plumbus machine from Rick and Morty?
So like STX gets made by, in order to mine a STX block, somebody has to put Bitcoin up and lock it up, right? And it costs X amount of Bitcoin to mine that block. And if they win that block, they get STX tokens, right? So there's an economic incentive in play to mine STX.
Sorry, just for the joke of it, Jack. Sorry,
That I just couldn't verbally say
Jack,
it.
just for the joke of it, can I share my screen while you explain that again?
Yeah.
Just for the Gen Z in the audience? Okay. So let me know when my screen's being shared. Let me mute myself. All right.
Yeah, there it is. So this is how they mine STX. You have to take a bit of Bitcoin and you have to lock it in a contract, and X amount of that Bitcoin is used to mine a block. And if you win the block, you are economically rewarded with STX tokens. And that is why STX tokens exist.
This is great. Where did you get this, Mike?
The Spanish subtitles really drove it home.
So when you look at STX, okay, so I was doing some calculations because we are, speaking of utility and all these different things and what tokens are good for. So if STX goes below about a value of 60 cents, or Bitcoin gets above a value of 150,000, it becomes very, very tricky as to whether or not mining STX is profitable. Okay. So if you don't have any economic incentive to have the blockchain, you're going to have fewer miners, right? And eventually, if it's just a completely unprofitable thing, you'll have no STX, right? So like a pure Bitcoin maxi takes offense to STX existing because it's a token. Why are you having to use a token to have this Bitcoin L2, right? And I think that's silly because I think economic incentive is actually all the incentive in the world. That's how capitalism works, right? You want economic incentives. You want to economically incentivize people. So then you have the STX token. Well, then what do you do with it, right? You need to now be able to create things so that there'll be demand for STX tokens, so that people can continue to, have STX blocks and provide a place where people can have secure smart contract functionality built on Bitcoin, right? But you have it. What do you do with it? And that's, again, like when you talk about, different ways, there's DeFi, there's exchanges. So if you take like Roof, for instance, that we had $1.5 million worth of liquidity parked at Velar, right? So obviously of all the exchanges, they have incentives. They want that liquidity. They need that liquidity. So what do? They incentivize. Alex does this as well with the Surge campaign. They incentivize people to park their liquidity there so that they can get, whether it's Velar token or Alex token or what have you, to have that liquidity. So when you get into the bottom line of what any of this stuff is, you're really cutting into like, do we just need Bitcoin? Or are there other things that we can do with this technology that's worth exploring? I fall into the camp that there definitely are other things worth exploring. Aside from social aspects and DeFi aspects and all of these, Bitcoin in and of itself, the way that it's constructed, is not feasible to become if you'll notice, the sailor type people and all the new people call Bitcoin an asset. But if you look at the Bitcoin white paper, Satoshi calls it peer-to-peer cash. So STX stacks actually can help Bitcoin function as a peer-to-peer cash in a way that Bitcoin in and of itself cannot do because of its block sizes. So it's a complicated discussion for sure, but you definitely can agree on some things. People should. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, people should
Sorry,
be
yeah.
able to participate in finance. It should be decentralized. We've got enough centralization in the world. And if you start agreeing there, and then you just work on up, right? And just see where it takes you. But we can also agree that like bad actors who just strictly come in here to steal from people are a problem, and there has to be ways to disincentivize that behavior.
Definitely. Honestly, I don't even know if it's so. Let's look at just stacks independently right now, and you know, I think that the advent of STX City and Fact.Fun and those projects are interesting, and it adds some different kind of functionality and different tools for people to use, but I don't think that the massive increase in the creation of meme tokens was a good thing for stacks.
No.
It just fractured all of the liquidity. It did create opportunities for those that were looking to just extract value to make those plays, and ultimately was a net negative in the short term at the very least, because we just don't have the liquidity to support those types of things. But does Solana even really have the liquidity to support that? I think that that's actually been a net negative for Solana. Pump Fund in the short term brought a lot of eyes to Solana and a lot of volume to people buying Solana to play on Pump Fund. But Solana's been minting a ton of USDT, USDC.
Pump Fund does actually benefit Solana, if in only one way. And you brought up some good ways, but Solana is inflationary by nature. Okay. Right. And every time a token bonds on Pump Fund, that liquidity gets locked. It's burnt. It's stuck in a smart contract. It's not going anywhere. So it actually counteracts the of Solana.
Oh no! You're saying
right?
Pump.Fun has a burning mechanism for the total supply of Solana?
In effect, yes.
Son, that's great tool. Well, why don't we have that
with Solana enough? We do. Anytime a token bonds at STX City or whatever, or Factory.Fun, they take so much of that liquidity that was raised, and that gets locked as liquidity, as a guarantee that the token can't go to zero, right?
What if DeOrganized, the coin, had like a burn mechanism? Would that make you feel better, Peace? If there was like an offset making it scarce for some reason that might be productivity oriented?
So one consideration was that if there were a token launch, one of the incentives would be that for any marketing dollars we bring in from our marketing partners, a specific percentage of that would actually go to buy and burn the token. But I still don't think that that's
NFTs, man. And good
the NFT idea. Did we get to the NFT idea?
I have a hard time calling you Mel. I'm trying my best though. It's old habits die hard.
If I called a woman good kitty, she would slap me in Canada. So it's kind of tough for me as well.
I was having a meeting with some guy like a while back, and he says to me, hi, is there anything else I can call you other than good kitty? Because I'm working with my family company, they're going to be thinking I'm on some weird website.
These days. So the way, if I was going to be like, this is how we fund DeOrganized, it would be very simple. you would have a run of NFTs to start, right? And these NFTs would act as a premium access. Okay. Now, me personally, I'm in love with like DMT NFTs. So I would, if I had my druthers, it would be something that was customizable, so that different tiers would present you with a different NFT. But basically, you have gated content, right? That can only be accessed with the NFT, and then you have other incentivizations like behind the scenes AMAs that don't hit the air. You have a multimedia, type magazine that has art, everything crypto, everything Web3. Like I would think more along those lines, right?
Maybe even the workshop that I'm planning on doing, to where I could teach people how to do like digital art, could be gated as well with DeOrganized.
Oh yeah, you could totally do that. And at the end of the day, the person owns the NFT, and then the way that you continue the funding is by there's different seasons of the NFT. So if someone has a season 1 NFT, well, it might have some perks that aren't available to season 2, right? And so forth. So there's ways you can further gamify that. But that would be how I would do it, right? Like you say, okay, this is just your free for access shows, no matter what. But if you want the behind the scenes, you want the special stuff, because again, you go back to incentivization and communities and so forth. So, like in my perfect world, protocols on stacks would look at things like the organized or communities and be like, we want to incentivize this community the same way that exchanges want to incentivize you parking your liquidity there, right? So you have that aspect of it as well. Oh, well, DeOrganized members are whitelisted for X, or DeOrganized members, and I think that can be done as people. One thing about building is it's very simple to be building something and not know what else is going on, especially if you're coming from outside stacks and new to the ecosystem. But then again, what's a better way than to learn about the people in your community than by coming on DeOrganized? What's an even better way than by incentivizing DeOrganized viewers to go check out whatever it is you need everyone to check out so that you can be successful, right? So there's a lot there to play with. It's just a matter of connecting dots, and that's one of the places we can do better.
I think that looking at like how it happens in real life as well is like important. So exactly with the magazine thing, you make sure you've got like each of the people that you have could be writing a newsletter that people can subscribe to. You can have merchandise, so you can have DeOrganized. That's another way to make money. You could release, like Jack says, NFTs, but I think, again, I think it's also a case of like you feature, like you have a month and it's like, whatever, photography month. And then you have every day you interview a photographer, and then they add one NFT to your collection. And then at the end of the month, they're all auctioned off, so you kind of keep it, so people are getting things where you're actually creating collections, and then giving attention to the artists on your show, because that keeps it fresh constantly, and then like you can also have this panel, for example, could be, gated, where they see you read the news, but then they've got to pay to watch a certain, or like halfway through, we're like,
No, we could actually do that. We could do
Hey.
something where it's a shorter segment, and then we have more gated access stuff.
Just sponsorship. You kind of got to look at, you've got a screen, you've got how many people busy, watching here today. So you need to have like ads as horrible as it is, I was listening to a podcast today where a woman was saying, she feels really bad, but she has to do it because that's how she.
Well, and that's good. Listen. People are getting all of this content for free. There's nothing is for free, so the ad is the ad is having to be subject to an advertisement would be the price you pay for watching free content. That's just how it is.
You do it the other way around, like how Spotify does it. You pay not to see ads, so you say, okay, you pay for the one where there's no ads, no breaks. Also creating podcasts.
If you're watching a podcast on Spotify like Rogan, you might be not getting ads in the middle of the podcast, but you're still getting all sorts of product placement and ads on Rogan, like on his show. Like
So how do we do that? Oh, so what Peace needs to do is set up a nootropics company, right? That's how Joe Rogan monetizes the podcast. Onit.com. That's right, onit.com.
His first
kettlebells and supplements at onit.com.
His very first advertisers was like a fleshlight type device.
Nah, really?
Yeah. But that's where I had to start. So I mean, Peace.
Can't fall off the floor. Left Light, if you're out there, we're not too proud to beg.
That's the kind of stuff everybody wants. Media is so important. Oh God, guys.
Media?
You can do a couple of demo spots.
Media? Sorry.
Media is so important. So if you establish, all you've got to really worry about at this point is creating content that actually has viewers. And the minute you've created content that people are looking at, when you move into the next, because that's the job right now, they say like when you start something, it takes 3 years before you're profiting, off a business or whatever it is you start. So right now is it's building up that network where people really enjoy the show and they're going to commit to it, whatever. And the next step, when things move into stacks or into Bitcoin, into L2s, this then it's going to become very competitive and people are going to want to be on the show, be mentioned by the show. And that's when it becomes very profitable.
So nobody famous had mentioned that, asking, do we have anywhere where people can donate to the show? And part of what Trip's been building out for us at DeOrganized Media, one of the functionalities on there is if you go into any specific show, you can go into any episode, it'll list the host or hosts on that show. You can go to their channel and you can actually donate to anyone or send to anyone SBTC or stacks right through the DeOrganized Media page. So anyone that is looking to support any of the creators on our show, you guys can go over to DeOrganized Media, find any of the show hosts or regular contributors' account on DeOrganized Media and donate some stacks or some BTC to them directly through the platform.
So I have blockbase.btc. What do I do now?
Well,
set up your profile.
You have a profile on DeOrganized Media?
Mm-hmm.
Or you do? You do or you don't?
What is the wallet? Is it with the blockface.btc?
Yeah,
wallet
Crypto
address?
Dude bought me blockface.btc. But I've never
put it in your X hand too.
Well, I have
so they can use that on with Crypto Dude and what he's building. Definitely put that in your X handle, and then they can already tip you if you opt in.
Right, you don't even need
It's
to
an
go to
opt-in
the DeOrganized
profile.
website for that. If once that's working, people can actually tip you right through X, which is
That's
Yeah.
That's so cool.
it's nuts. He's still just waiting for the App Store to approve his app, and I think it'll be fun.
Google approved it. I saw.
Oh, did
on
they?
Twitter.
I thought I saw something earlier this morning, but it might have been an older post where he was just like me pressing refresh at the App Store, waiting for them to approve my app. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it was.
I'm sure.
I had a question, Steve. So do you have the DeOrganized.btc BNS set up a profile on the DeOrganized.media
I
site?
did, but when the address is on there as an account, and I tried to put the username DeOrganized Media there for it. I have my own PeaceLoveMusic beat.btc is on there as well as my profile. There is a DeOrganized one on there as well, but it's not showing up with the username for some reason. I don't know if it's because Trip put something in there to prevent people from putting DeOrganized Media as a username so that nobody else did that. And I haven't had a chance to follow up with them on it because these are all secondary things to me, to be honest with you. Like, that functionality is really awesome and great, and I can't wait until it's like something we can really incorporate into using. But it's a lot of we're just not my main focus right now for trying to generate revenue is in sponsorships. We're starting to approach more of the protocols in the space to see if they'd be interested in X, Y, or Z type of sponsor or marketing partnerships is really what I prefer to call them. But that kind of stuff where we can maybe do bumps for them or maybe produce some content for them. Jack and I were talking about stuff where we were maybe even doing like packages with, you can get an article and a walkthrough video.
Something different in Toronto.
Well, no, not that means.
I mean, I heard that's how media deals get made, but I didn't realize that was the one doing tickets.
A bump in media parlance.
I heard that helps you trade better in institutional finance.
No, did he?
Maybe that's what retail needs: access to the high quality. Never mind.
Oh, they're already geeked out of their mind on Adderall.
I am so glad they didn't have Adderall when I was in school, because if I heard there was a magic drug that can keep you up all night and help you learn calculus, I would have been all over that shit.
Could you imagine Jack on or not Jack Mike on Adderall? Dude already doesn't sleep whatsoever. Forget about it. He's gonna create a whole new blockchain on his own, if he's on Adderall.
And I'll name it after Peace Love Music so nobody knows it's me. Straight to the moon.
Wait, what does that have to do with me?
Oh no, nothing. You'll see tomorrow on the news. I'll be doing an interview with CoffeeZilla.
Yeah, so this guy did something called Bot Trap.
He's got, and dude, I want to see the bubble map on
Bot Trap. Claims he didn't know how to do it.
This entire show is a documentary for a HBO special.
So this is something that I saw was being built. Kraken, the guy that works very closely with Rosar on Charisma is building essentially what is a bubble maps on stacks. He's got Craxel.io where you can get different metrics and it pretty much it's like real time almost. But he's also building a bubble maps to where it'll connect different wallets, show you the concentration and distribution with the visual form. So I'm really interested in seeing that. I think that's going to be cool to see. There's also, we've got STX Watch that has been doing some analytics and looking into liquidity ratios of different tokens that I've seen pop up recently. So those are probably a couple good accounts to follow. Because there are good tools. I also saw that the sniper bot made by the Bucket Hat crew on Abstract got a partnership with I think it was STX City and Velar for their API.
Really?
Our API, yeah, he's got a couple partnerships. The sniper bot, so really cool to see that too. There's a lot of tools coming out that will help us keep track of whose wallets or what's going on. So it'll make for a safer space and really can show you the community builders that are the founders of tokens, the community tokens versus the
Can I
meme
actually
tokens.
show off a
So-
trip site, stx.vision, while you're on that?
Yeah, do it.
Because I don't think we,
Yeah, that's-
it's kind of a crime that we haven't talked about before. But stx.vision, that's right, stx.vision. This is the AOC running for political office pinch episode portion of the show. Remember when AOC used to do that when she was running? Anyways, so you can use stx.vision. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at the pending transactions. Trippin' Monkey knows what he's doing. So he created a whole visualization kind of chart to look at what's happening to stacks in real time. You can look into the tenures. Tenor is a voice pitch range. Tenure is what happens on stacks. But yeah, this is what Trippin' Monkey built. You can see what's going on. So these are tools. To me, stx.vision is a tool that enables people to exercise more free will. But I'll stop there.
And then you have the reputation badges that are coming out with Zero Authority DAO. That's really what matters, I think, way more than people think about. Because let's assume that this guy who's tied up with the Argentinian token isn't some Fed plant or something. That's always where my mind goes first.
Why would we assume that he's not?
Right. But like when you have something like a reputation badge online, that's really going to be the thing that helps level people up in this space, especially good actors. Because if you have good actors looking for other good actors to do stuff, things like, is this person trustworthy? Well, you can easily find out, right? Is this, are you dealing with a scammer or not? So that's going to be huge, and that just speaks to where we're at, right? I mean, we have a lot.
What if I could get a
we've
Jack
all been here.
badge? That the real reputation I want is a Jack badge, where Jack says this guy is a made guy. Does that make sense?
I mean, a root badge. Those are
Yeah, you have
the
like,
root badges.
It sounds like the
Yeah.
mob.
in the club, yeah.
Like he's a good fella kind of thing.
But that's the thing. Like, so think about it. So
Looking
that's
over
part of it.
yeah, sorry.
Is the first iteration of those reputation badges look like endorsements, and so you could, as a user, endorse somebody else.
What if we call it endorphins, like endorphins?
Well, that is actually part of the. That is actually part of the TradeJan endorsements is actually going to be
Dolphins.
integrated into the V2 that's launching possibly this week.
Yeah.
how can bots not mess with that?
I mean the
Yeah.
endorsements?
Yeah, like if you just have like bots endorse in are you
That's
fucked
who's
with
got
how I
bots.
say it?
If you just have a bot doing it, yeah, and you will, like,
Just
that's
connect
going
it
to
to a
mean
patch, like a nicotine patch that releases, on digital smart contract triggering.
so like if you had like Munib send an endorsement to somebody, that would be a big solid endorsement. It would come from his .btc or .id or whatever he has, right? Whereas, bots, yeah, well, they just won't mean anything, and if you have fake users or you have botted users, well, where'd the bots come from? Oh, what's his endorsements look like?
Right. That could potentially serve to be a negative endorsement if that's all you
Right.
got.
Right, exactly. And so I think that's a very good tool, and it's been something that's been talked about for like 3 years now, and it's integral, and it speaks to how early we are. And by the way, I saw the beta for V2. It looks good.
Yeah,
It
it does.
looks good.
I saw a little sneak peek too, Jack. It looks fantastic.
Shout out to Red Block
Um,
Labs and Rocky and Co.
Yeah,
They've been
it
working on
looks
it for a while.
really good, man. It stands out amongst other protocols here for sure.
There,
Yeah,
he dropped me a little bit of alpha too. but that's for later discussions.
So I think we haven't confirmed. Hattie hasn't confirmed it yet, but I think they're actually, if they are really ready, Hattie's trying to get them to reveal it on the Spotlight show on Thursday afternoon. So it'll be after Kitty's show at noon. We have our show at 2, and we're gonna have Zero Authority on. And if they are ready, they might be revealing it on our show V2 launch this week.
That's huge.
Amazing.
Not set in stone yet.
Hey, are we doing an evening show?
If GP is available to produce it
Yeah.
and you want to do it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Heard
drop
he's
in and
off
say
the
hi,
sauce
but
on the evening show.
I'm not hosting, and I might just drop in, say hi, and leave or whatever. Do the old Michael Eisner thing. Come in and it's like, this is my network. I can come say hi at the top of the show. And if I want to,
You walk in like fucking Vince McMahon down the you know what I mean? Like, what do you say about Stacks? Yeah.
Mike, let's talk a little bit more. Maybe we could coordinate a little bit more
What if
about
we
that.
didn't coordinate at all and just showed up at 6:45?
Well, shit.
I have some people that are available.
you two should linger after the show, and we'll talk about it a little
What
bit.
what if we just follow DeOrganized, right? And just see what happens?
Well,
Because
but
all I need to do is
you
invite
guys
the
don't know about how to like set up a studio and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll
right.
figure that out. Work expansive till the time allotted, 15 minutes, right, good kitty?
Once you get this, as far as what goes on when you guys go live, none of the rest of the stuff matters. The crawl, the switching, you guys already know how to do like pulling stuff up and stuff. So I'm not worried about that. It's
The
just
good news is I don't have to do anything. Even though I'm the brown guy, I don't have to be in charge of tech, which is like a fucking amazing thing. Yeah. Finally. Found a water Chinese to take over.
H1BBs coming through, coming soon,
Chinese.
bringing you the. So.
All right, it's actually just up at 10 o'clock. We unfortunately don't have any fine to earn rounds.
I was waiting for it the whole time.
Well, it's just Zenitron's working on some other things, some other concepts, and I have to. I don't have a specific sponsor. I was actually going to sponsor some episodes myself, just from DeOrganized today, but I think it's okay to take a break, and kind of.
I want to hear about Hermetica, where you can make money on your money, on your money, on your money, on your money.
Your money,
USDH.
Bitcoin money.
Actually, Crypto Dude added USDH.
Like magic.
Crypto Dude added USDH to the X Boost payment thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. He's on it. I think he added that dog thing too, as well.
Dog,
he's on
and
it.
dog tokens.
Fucking giant. Yeah.
Well, it's any SIP10 token, wasn't it? It's any SIP10 token. I don't know if it's
I'm hoping
functional.
to have him on tonight, actually, at 7. That's why I was joking around. Yep.
All right, cool.
For your new
Yeah, because you can meet the guy, right? Because you reviewed his product, remember? Right, and now we can meet the man behind it. You know what's funny about that guy? He's actually very principled. He's one of the most principled, because most people talk about like their product, but if you really pry him on his politics and outlook on currency, he's very principled, which makes me want to follow him even more.
Have you seen the social media SocialFi platform he's building out, Derupt, and his crypto cash product?
Thing is, we never get a chance to talk about Derupt because people are so enamored with getting paid on X, but I want to dig in more with you guys.
Right. That's super novel. That's like way cool. But I've been like, he's been on testnet for Derupt for a long time. So I've known him for a while, just kind of going in and poking around on Derupt and doing some stuff. And then he was down for a while. And
did you know that his dad, or his grandfather, built yachts from scratch, and he has like at least a decade. Crypto Dude has a decade in telecom, which is where he learned a lot of it, like where he got his chops before doing this. So he had a career before this.
I might have known he worked in telecom for. I don't remember that though. Technically, I was in sales for a telecom for like 10 years.
Part of the problem.
Broadband.
Broadband, is that like female-led tech?
Kind of like that.
Or is that like No Doubt? Sorry.
No doubt.
Yeah, Broadband, you know, with Gwen Stefani. Sorry. We should have ended 5 minutes ago. I apologize.
I tried to.
Spider webs.
Best broadband.
I would.
It's very pear-shaped.
This has been a great show. I love hanging out with you guys in the morning. We'll have to keep doing it. And thank you all for joining us today. I am PeaceLoveMusic. We are DeOrganized Media, coming at you live on BitcoinLive Decentralized, broadcasting every Monday through Friday, bringing you all the news you may or may not want to hear. Thank you all for tuning in today. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace out.